Welcome to Video Game Takeout. This week's game is Mortal Kombat for the Game Boy and the Game Gear. First, let's start off with the Game Boy version. The sound in this game is awful. With that in mind, I decided I couldn't make you listen to it through the whole review, so I think I'll just use the music from the movie instead. Unfortunately, even with the sound off, there's still the matter of how terrible the game looks. The visual style of Mortal Kombat does not lend itself well to the Game Boy. The rotoscoped, realistic character design just didn't make the translation. In addition to that, it's an early Game Boy game, so it has no support for color of any kind. Mortal Kombat was never known for its great control in any of the games, but this game sets a new standard in bad. It has terrible controls. They're slow and unresponsive. Animations are jerky, and the hit detection is poor, which defeats the whole purpose of even playing. Special moves are nearly impossible to pull off. I can't tell if the game has fatalities because I can't even control it. I'd be lucky just to get my guy in the area to do the fatality. Not that it matters, because the computer sweeps, knocking you down anytime you get near it. In fact, it sweeps so much that the game mainly turns into who can sweep the most. On the rare occasion that you do manage to get in there and land a high kick, they go flying to the complete other side of the screen. This brings us to one of the biggest offenders in the game. You can't pause. What the hell is up with that in a portable game? Also, for some unknown reason, this version is missing Johnny Cage. The Game Boy version only has 3 stages, and there's no blood, which is the whole point of Mortal Kombat. But even if there was, the graphics are so bad that you could never tell. Plus the controls are so bad that you might never get to hit them to find out. This is a terrible port. Avoid this game at all costs. Alright, now on to the Game Gear version. The game has color, as all Game Gear games do, and it has multiple difficulty levels, which I guess is a good thing, but for some reason the Game Gear version only has 2 stages, the pit and Goro's lair. The music is much better than the Game Boy one, but it has that Game Gear sound that sounds kinda off. The speed of the game is all fast and funky and weird, but the graphics are actually pretty good. For some reason, this version of the game is missing Kano, though. Just like the Game Boy version, this game has no blood at all. The controls are crazy, and special moves are still a pain to get working, but at least they can work. Plus, since there's a lack of buttons, there's only one punch and one kick button, so you use back and punch to block. The Game Gear version is definitely better than the Game Boy version, but better than awful is still bad. Mortal Kombat was pushing the envelope of what the Genesis and the Super Nintendo could do, so the portable systems never had a chance. If you've never had the chance to play these games on the go, then consider yourself lucky. For those who have, I'm so sorry. I feel your pain. Well, that about wraps it up for another week. Come back next time for another serving of Retro to Go. Until then, I'm Ben. Have a great week.